Okay. Well, look, I'll get started real quick. Nobody has any questions or anything, but like I said, I still plan on, business as usual here with class. I'm fortunate enough to have an office in my house / bedroom that I can use as my study area. So if anybody needs anything, has any questions, you can pop in at any time. You can always email me during the day. But really all I wanted to do today was go over where we're at with the exploratory and the project right now. So for the exploratory, that is texture. And we did go over that a couple of days ago, but I actually have some examples I'd like to show you from students that have already submitted their projects. I also have some examples of some of the written proposals so far too. So I'm going to show you what some good ones are and some ones that could use a little bit of fixing, okay? So hopefully this will give most of you a really good idea on where you need to be right now, okay? Let's take a look here. Okay, so let's start with the texture images. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. See where we're at. Okay, and like I said, feel free at any time if you want to jump in during the chat and let me know if you have any questions or anything. Now, the biggest problem is, here's the biggest problem. Some of you still aren't submitting things properly, and that's kind of a big issue. So the one thing that kind of jams me up is when you share something in Google Documents and you send me the link to share it because you can't, you haven't connected your Google Drive to your Schoology account. So I already sent you out a tutorial on how to do that, and some of you haven't even watched it. So the problem becomes is, let's say, for example, Ariana shared her Google Docs link to me with a document for me to look at. What do you think happens? Does anybody know? Anybody? All right, so I'll tell you what happens. It asks me that I have to request permission to view the document. So then I have to reply back to Ariana to then request access to look at the document she just shared at me. That adds like 2 more days to me having to grade that project, okay? So I'm gonna show you really quickly here 2 simple ways to be able to A, connect your Google Drive, and then B, just cut it and paste it into the Create tab, okay? So I'm just gonna show you the Create button. I have already created a 3-minute tutorial on how to connect your Google Drive to your Schoology account. So if you're really not doing it at this point, or if you're having issues, let me know. But if you're not doing it, I'm gonna take points off because I'm tired of getting these links that I have to click and then I have to request you for access to be able to look at them, okay? So please make sure you're submitting stuff right. That also counts as a grade. So I'll show you the page over here. Actually, I'm gonna show a different window with you. So I'm gonna show you this window here. Okay. So this is actually one of the students in our program in the AM class. You go and you want to submit your assignment, okay, at any time, okay? So take a look at this, and this is how you submit your assignment. Obviously, everybody knows there's a submit button right here, but when you go to submit, there's a couple easy ways to do this. You can go under resources, and then you have apps. This is where you can do Google Drive, okay? Has anybody not seen this before? Just shake your heads up and down. That's fine. You don't have to say anything. Okay. If you have not done this yet, I cannot stress how important it is for you to set this up, okay? Do it today. So go in, you go into my resource, and don't forget, I made a video for this. I will send you the link today at the end of class. So go in, you hit approve, and you can connect your Google Drive, and then it's a piece of cake to share documents with me. Now, here's the other easy way to do it, okay? If you were to go under create, okay, all you need to do, and I'm gonna do something here real quick. I'm just gonna get a document open, see what I can look at. Okay, So I have a student that already wrote me something. So it's like a Word document, okay? So all I need to do is open up that Word document and copy and paste it in, okay? So here's the Word doc. You just go select all, copy it, okay? And then the only other thing you need to do is you go under create, you click right here, and you paste it in. That's it. That's all you have to do, okay? So for this particular case, you don't even need to share the Google document that you type. You don't need to share the Microsoft document. You don't need to email the document. It's super, super simple to be able to do it this way. And then you hit submit. You can also go in, I mean, there's a bunch of different things in here you can use. You can send links. Here's the insert content. You can put pictures. Google Drive, you could also do it that way, okay? And that's that. Does anybody have questions about that right now? Okay. Let me take a look here real quick. Now, I want to go and show you real quick some of the student projects, which I'm actually been really happy to see. So I'll bring them over here real quick. No particular order, but just to show you some texture projects. Now this one, it's not bad. It doesn't really nail texture to me. But what are some of the kind of general observations that you make when you look at this? How do we like the layout? Don't make me call on you. All right, Nathan, what do you think about the layout?
It is like plain, I guess.
Plain. Could you be a little bit more specific? Do you like the layout?
I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah. All right, well, I'll tell you what. Let's look at this next one real quick, and we'll do a comparison. I think that might help out a little bit. Now, what do we think of this one?
Well, I feel like it's more rough than soft because I'm looking at the close up between the soundproof spike and the guitar.
Yeah. Do we like this one? What do you think? What do you think, Josh? Do you like this one? What are some of the textures that you see?
Sorry, blew off. Did you say?
All right. Everybody, please pay attention right now because this is important stuff. So what textures are you picking up right now when you see this?
Oh, picking up like rough textures and stuff.
Yeah, very good. So thank you. Yeah, so he's got some really cool stuff that he has laying around inside the house. Now you can kind of pick up overall that would be like a rough texture.
Can I say something?
You absolutely can.
It's kind of hard to say something about that texture. It's like kind of like randomized, like what he picked out.
Yeah, and you know what? I 100% agree with you on that. So that's the point I was trying to get across. It looks like a collage of something else other than texture. Not to say that it's not good, but the student could have actually went in and just did 5 or 6 texture pictures of the candy or of the cat. Like you could shoot the paws, the nose, the whiskers, the tail, instead of so many different things. It would be easier to try and focus on maybe 1 or maybe 2 particular things. Okay. Like I said, it's not bad. I kind of see where the student was coming from. You know, the leaves have a texture, the apple's shiny, the paper from the candy wrappers, but try next time to kind of focus on 1 or 2 particular things instead of this whole collection of different stuff. But not bad. You know, like I said, this is new for everybody. Okay. You know, here's another one. Now, I do like the fact, I mean, it is texture. You can kind of pick up a lot of different things here, but what is one of the things you notice, Steve?
Lighting.
The lighting's okay, but it's a little bit too straight on. You can see what's called, it's got a flare to it. The flash is really bright. But overall, the one thing that's a problem is it's very flat, obviously, because it's the floor and countertops and things that are laid out. So there's not a whole lot of depth to it, and that becomes a problem. So, but it's still not a bad collection of images, and it still does show texture. But, something to kind of focus on next time that you can work on is just trying to get a little bit more dimension out of the images, okay? So let me show one more. This one's actually pretty cool too. Some more common household kind of items. Malaysia, what do you think? You like it? You don't like it? What jumps out at you?
The knife.
Yeah, right. That's a little scary. But yeah, it's very sharp. It's shiny. I would probably say it's the more interesting. It's got that reflection off of it. But not a bad image too. Any other ones?
The CD disc.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm glad everybody knows what a CD is. But yeah, so there's a pretty good collection of items going on in here. But once again, to be able to just pull off something and get some texture pictures, it's not always that difficult to find things around the house or outside to be able to pull off this type of these types of pictures. Okay, so that's it for there. So now think about that when you're doing your assignment for the texture. Think about focusing on maybe one or two things. Think about before you go and do it, what's your lighting going to look like when you do find your subject matter. Like, let's say you did want to take pictures of your cat. Is your cat going to stay still long enough? So, those are some things that you need to kind of ask yourself when you're doing this type of work. Is it going to be easy to do? Am I going to be able to pull it off in a reasonable amount of time? So there you go. So a couple of things I want to bring up real quick are some of the submission letters that I've gotten for your first part of your workspace design project. Now, this is a really good one here, and I'm just going to show you some basic ideas. Drag that over here. Now, if you remember what I asked you before, is I asked you for 3 paragraphs, okay? The first paragraph was a little bit of an introduction on who you are, and this is Deshauna's. I don't know if she's with us today. She's not, okay. But Deshauna has been consistently handing in some pretty decent work so far. So she's got a really good start to her piece for her workspace design. So she's like, hello, my name's Deshauna. I'm 15. I go to Central Monco. She talks about, things she does outside of school, extracurricular activities, the things that she likes to do. So she's really starting to tell a story of who she is. Once again, if you remember, and I was telling you this, when you're trying to apply for a loan, for a small business loan to the bank, you want to kind of give them a little bit of information about yourself and who you are, okay? And this does a really nice job of telling you that. And then right here, the second part is I asked, what kind of equipment do you think you're going to need? So she wants to get into photography and video editing. So she put some equipment. She would need different types of things called barn doors and snoots, which are lighting tools, reflectors, light stands. So she's really got it pretty well laid out here. Just about everything she needs. And the space. And then you go to the next part, and I asked is how much do you expect to make the first year, and then how do you plan on marketing your business? So she's hoping to make $5,000 the first year. And then she's actually talking about promoting her website, doing events like fundraisers, and other real events to go into, getting involved in the community, posters, social media. So she's got a lot of really good information in here. So if anything, this is a really good example on what your paper should look like, okay? That's what you should be doing. Now, I also have, I have a couple other ones. Diego did a nice job on his too. He's got the 3 paragraphs. The only issue with some of these, like I have told Diego, is to talk a little bit more, a little bit more about himself. He said his name's Diego. He's got a business he wants to do. His parents used to play instruments and stuff like that, which isn't bad, but more about the industry that he wants to go into. And then here he has his equipment. And then last but not least is how he's going to make the money. But he's not really talking about how he's going to make money that first year. Okay. So if he goes and fixes that one little part or adds to it and resubmits, which everybody can do, you'll be fine. Okay. So, going in and just doing those changes will actually take your project content, to the next level. Mike Craven did a really nice job too. Mikey, I actually got to meet him last week. He came and picked up his laptop. He runs a graphic design and clothing business, does social media edits, talks about all the different things in video that he wants to do, talks about the computer system that he wants to do graphic design. Then he talks about when he's going to use some of his money to do videos and social media and what he's looking to make. So yet, another nice job. I would say the last one here could use some work. I'm sorry, that's not it. There is one more. Is it this one? Yes. Now, Diana here is off to a good start. But the first problem we see is she only has one paragraph. Okay. So once again, I cannot stress enough to follow the instructions that I'm trying to give you. Okay. There's 3 questions that you need to go through. As soon as you go onto the assignment page, right next to submit, there's a whole breakdown of everything that needs to be done. Okay. So I told her she's off to a nice start. She has to add 2 or 3 things, and then I'll give her full credit for her assignment. Okay. And then the other problem becomes too is please check your spelling. Some of you have some pretty nasty spelling errors. And the one thing you don't want to do is send a proposal to a bank asking for money if you can't even spell. Okay. I get it. Some of you aren't good spellers. I'm not the best speller in the world, but you can use spell check. It's a piece of cake. So just make sure you're doing those last finishing touches on your pieces and then come up with a pretty good proposal. Okay. Has anybody got questions about any of that? We're all just dying to get off the computer right now.
Well, for one question,
Yep.
do we have, so for the blueprint,
Yep.
do we have to design a logo for our company?
So, it's funny. I'm glad you said that. I am actually going to give you a little mini project to develop your logo because you know what? You can actually do it in Google Drawings. So I was actually going to add that in for you to come up with a cool logo by the time the project's done, just to pick up some good extra points. So tomorrow what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go over how to design a nice logo. Okay. So don't miss out on that tomorrow. I'll put that in my email. But yes, I will show you how to put a nice little logo because the whole point of this project and working here throughout the semester is you're developing your own brand. And to be able to sell your brand, you have to have a logo. You have to have something identifiable that people are going to recognize. Okay. So tomorrow I'll show you some really good logos. I'll show you some really bad logos, and then I'll kind of set you loose and do something, a little tutorial in Google Draw. Now, Ariana's probably aware I had people do logos last year, correct? Now, you obviously don't have to do it. It's for the first year students. But if you want to go and open yours up again and revise it or try it in Google Drawings, feel free to go right ahead. Okay. But I think that's it for today.